gotta do all my.
RJ, I was gonna change my background, but I think I'm gonna keep it because I think what I'm gonna do is, I think I'm gonna angle it a little more, and I think I'm gonna get some, like, well, no.
Damn, that was quick. All right, awesome. Let me put that up on everything. Oh, I hear you. Okay. Let's do this.
Now, Brown Cow, unique New York. The Human Torch was a Night of Bang clone.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Anchorman?
I haven't actually.
Really?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I've never.
The first one, good.
All right, let me go get some chapstick real quick.
Oh, thank goodness! I wasn't gonna say anything, but now you said it, I can say it. You need it.
Damn. So mean.
It's somewhere in here. Somewhere.
Allegedly.
All right. Let me post all the Tweety Doos.
All right, I'm back. Coming. All right. So RJ.
Yep.
All right.
Later today, heavy PS5 day. Heavy.
Yeah.
Heavy.
Nice.
Later today.
Yeah, you want to talk about somebody who is gifted here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That TV, and then I got him a PS5.
PS5, dude.
Yo. Hey, Art. Oh, that's
life.
Jenny.
Yep.
Jenny.
Good morning, Jenny. Good morning, Sono.
Good morning. Good morning.
Is that you, Snorlax? Is that you, Doc?
I should have my book back there. Why don't I have my book right there? What am I doing? Just a terrible marketer.
Could be better.
All right. So I got chat pulled up over here. So if I look over here,
no problem. That's what I'm doing if I look over too. So okay. I am excited. I'm excited for this. We're gonna have a lot of fun. So
hell yeah.
Is everybody ready?
Sure.
All right, we'll start it up. Thank you for tapping into some Untapped Keg, our sobriety and mental health podcast. I'm one of your hosts, RJ Zimmerman, here with my good friend Monte Ball. How you doing on this Sunday morning?
I'm feeling good, man. I really am. Feeling really good. We're gonna get into some important topics here, moving forward with this episode, but the grand scheme of things, life is heading in the right direction. I'm doing well, man. How are you doing?
I'm great. The weather kind of took a turn here. Now it's like a nice fall. Reminds me of back home. So 66 this morning is fantastic. Or 66 the high today. So it's 60 something right now.
That's perfect.
But I'm really excited, and it's a really good morning because we are joined by our friend Waba. Waba is a mental health and variety streamer on Twitch, and they have focused on building an online family of support for people, and they've done a really, really good job. Welcome to Untapped Keg, Waba. Thank you. Woo! How are you doing this morning?
Thank you for having me on. I'm doing all right. I'm awake, alert, feeling good, feeling fresh.
Ready
for the day.
Awesome. Awesome.
I'm loving the background too, by the way.
Yes.
Loving the background, Waba. What is that?
Virtual cam.
Yeah, I mean, like, what's the setting? Is it like camping?
So I literally Google image searched, and this is one of my backgrounds for my just chatting screen. This is supposed to be like ski resort cabin in the mountains.
Okay.
So it's just supposed to be like really comfy, cozy feel.
That's sweet. Fam for life. What is that, like Bulbasaur or something, like from Pokemon or something?
No,
up there?
those are cats. Oh
those
no,
cats?
you're talking in the fam for life thing.
Yeah.
I was talking about the other corner. Those are cats. I'm like, what are you talking about? Those ain't Pokemon.
No,
Those are Pokemon.
Yeah, those are okay.
gotcha.
I'll give you one guess on which Pokemon that is.
It's not Bulbasaur.
It's not Bulbasaur.
That is not from Gen 1. Therefore, I will not get it right.
It's not from Gen 1, but it is from Gen 2.
Is it from the Squirtle family? I don't know.
Not the little ones, but the.
I'm sorry. I'm an uncultured swine.
Clearly, y'all didn't do your homework. Do you want to know how I got the name Waba
Please. Yeah, that's a great segue.
That is awesome. I appreciate this.
So I've always and this is kind of like very weird a bit, but always associated myself with a particular Pokemon known as Wobbuffet. That's spelled Wobbuffet.
I'm familiar.
And that is Wobbuffet up there.
Okay.
And those are why nots, which are just the baby version of Wobbuffet. Just because I've always felt myself as to be someone who can always come back twice as strong from literally anything. Like I've been through so much shit in life. I'm sorry, can I curse?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, I've been through a lot of shit in life, and I've always come back twice as strong. So I've really associated myself, like literally. I was looking at. I don't look at Facebook often, but when I do, I see like old memories, and I'm like, wow. I associated myself with Wobbuffet from such an early age. So it's just kind of stuck around. So Waba, and I stream, and it's spelled WABA, so I don't step on any Nintendo copyrights and they don't try to shut me down later.
That's a good idea, because they ain't afraid to do that.
Right. Yeah, they got people that just sit out and watch for that stuff. Some attorneys, trademark infringement lawsuits, but Waba. So it's just one word, right? WabaStreams, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, that's awesome stuff. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. RJ, I'll let you take it away, man.
Well, so we met Waba through Twitter, and it was actually Jenny kind of connected us. Everybody knows Jenny. She's been on, and she's always there in the chat, having good nuggets over there. Just wonderful.
Jenny's great.
So you were doing a month, was it June, about substance dependency, or July? Anyway,
it was June or July.
Yeah, it was one of the J's. So
looks at my notes.
You had tweeted out asking about like where people's substance dependency comes from,
July.
And I answered, and you thought the answer was a pretty decent one. So I DM'd you, and I just was like, hey, if we do a podcast on this, so if you need someone to come on, and I checked you out that time, and just like super wholesome streaming, like really calming, and really great place. And we came on and we had a great time. So we asked if you'd come on here and have a conversation with us. So I kind of want to go to your start of streaming, because you have such a wholesome and a really kind environment that you created around this community. Like when you started streaming, what were you setting out to create that, or did that just happen around your personality?
Yeah, actually, really. When I first started streaming, like so obviously I was one of those pandemic streamers, right? And my goal with it from the get-go was I want to do something related to mental health. I want that to be a part of my stream somewhere, somehow. I wanted mental health to be like the forefront. And I don't know when exactly I did the first Mental Health Monday, but basically kind of after I started meeting some people in the Twitter sphere and in the Twitch sphere, I was like, okay, this can be great. Like I can invite people on and we can talk about mental health together. We can talk about experiences. And it became a topic of the week, which then eventually transitioned to a topic of the month, which was a whole lot easier. And I used to have 4 guests on, so I had to find 16 people every single month. And then I was like, that's a lot.
Wow.
and other people said like, yeah, it's a lot. And I had 5 people on one time, and it was a lot. I was like, this is getting away from what I want to do. Like I'm taking time away from people. So I've actually put it down to now 2 max, maybe 3. I'm actually gonna have 3 on this Monday, and I'm a little nervous about it. But I know all the people, so I know that there's actually going to be a good balance of what's going on. But yeah, I've narrowed it down just to 2 people at a time, so they can showcase, their stories, speak on their experiences, and have a really good conversation, honestly. So yeah, it really was kind of like a thing from the get-go that I wanted to do something with mental health. I wanted to create an online family, something that maybe not a lot of people have. I definitely wanted it to be obviously an LGBTQ safe space. And that's kind of become one of my slogans, is whenever I get rated, I'm just like, hey, how's it going? Welcome in. My name is Waba. Welcome into your mental health talk place and queer safe space. Hope you're doing well. I hope you're taking care of yourself out there. It's a very simple just way to show that, hey, we're here to love and support folks, and we care about you.
Why is that? Why is that? Well, let me rephrase this question. You went about and started the podcast, started your streaming, all of the above. You may have talked about it a little bit, but I kind of want to dive a little deeper into that.
Sure.
Why is that important to you? Why was that something that you wanted to go out and do? And this time.
Why? Well, why is it important? I mean, I think the timing couldn't be better in a way. Like I know that sounds really corny and canned, but I really feel like, during the pandemic, a lot of people were feeling isolated. They were feeling alone. Right. And I was like, if there's something I can do to make people feel not so alone, and I myself dealing with my own feelings of isolation, despite the fact that I live with my partner and a roommate, you can still feel very alone, especially mental health wise. So it was part in that. It was also part in kind of a selfish decision of, I've been through a lot of stuff, but I also have a master's in mental health counseling. So maybe I can use this in some way to help other people, because I'm not going to go for my licensure. I'm just not, which sucks, but whatever, it is what it is. So I'm like, maybe I can use this in another way. Like, I'm never going to be anyone's therapist. And I knew that from the get-go. I had that boundary from the very get-go. Like, I'm not here to be someone's therapist, but if I can create a nice, lovely community where, we can just learn to talk to one another, learn to listen to one another more than anything else, then that'd be great. And that's been my goal and stays my goal.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, I think it's important. I think that's really the reason why RJ and I went about with Untapped Keg, for very similar reasons. Kind of this online community, the online support, from a sort of non-clinical, route. White lab coats can be intimidating. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. Obviously, education is extremely powerful, very, very powerful, especially when we're talking about addiction, especially when we're talking about codependency, etc. But
right,
some folks, want to just say like, you 2 dads, how are you guys still staying away from alcohol? So Wabo, my next question to you, and I'd love for RJ to take it away after this, but when it comes to your streams and stuff, obviously you don't have to provide us with actual names of any folks, but like, what's some of the feedback that you're receiving since you've started? Like, what's your community talking about?
So I've received various, not consistent, but various feedback over the months, over the year that I've been streaming, year plus. And all of it, including like during mental health Mondays as well, when I'm feeling particularly low and people want to, give me encouragement, is mostly just kind of like, you are making a difference. And, you talking about this opened the avenue for me to have a conversation with my parents about this thing. Right. Or like, I really like this talk because it made me feel like I wasn't so alone. And I'm like, then I fucking did my job. Because that's my main goal for every single stream is if I can make someone feel not so alone in the world, make them feel like someone does give a shit and cares about them, then great. Goal accomplished.
Yeah.
That's where it's at for me, really.
Yeah.
That's absolutely wonderful.
Heck yeah.
So I'm still, I look at your Discord. I'm a lurker. I don't really post much. I don't post much, honestly, anywhere. That's the kind of person I am, but
It's okay.
you have a very active community and you stream a lot. Where do you find the energy to have your schedule so full? Because right now it is not your full-time job. So
no, it's not.
Is it the community that helps give you energy when you're in there and you're talking with them and the feedback? Because you do have a lot of fun on your streams and it's awesome. It's fantastic to see. You're someone whose energy is infectious. So
thank you. Aw, thank you. That's really sweet to hear. Yeah, honestly, I've told my chat before that like, so like two things. Yes, absolutely. My chat can drive my energy, and it's a nice, vicacious, what's the word I want to use? I think that's the word, vicacious cycle of just like good energy coming back and forth. Like I put out energy, I put out where I'm at, and chat puts out where they're at, and like we come together and we build each other up in a way. I'm definitely not like a like positivity streamer, right? I'm not forced positivity. That's ridiculous. So I'm just my authentic self all the time. I literally told you that before we started this that last night I literally stopped and sobbed for like 5 minutes because of this game we're playing called Shady Part of Me. I'm 100% just my authentic self. I don't have anyone else I could really be. So this isn't a persona, my energy levels is where it's at. And definitely I'll say chat, can drive me onward and can like keep my energy up in a way, because that interaction really feeds me. I'm like a secret extrovert. I don't want to admit I am, but I am. But yeah, it really does, give me a lot of energy to know that I'm helping people, or at least I'm entertaining people in some way. So yeah, absolutely. I forgot if there's something else I wanted to say, but yes.
So kind of building off that, you have your mental health Mondays and you put out your stream schedule.
Yes.
Are there any days that you really look forward to the most? Like, do you look forward to your mental health Monday chats the most?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, the way my schedule is situated now, because I just took Wednesdays off the docket, because of scheduling issues with my D&D groups. So literally the way my schedule is set up is basically like an extended weekend with Waba. Oh, I should use that. I should write that down.
You should write that down. That's a good one.
I think it's actually brilliant that you have your, what is it called again on Mondays?
Mental Health
Monday.
Mental Health Mondays. I don't know why. My brain just went crazy right there. But I think it's wonderful that you have those on Mondays, because kind of the Sunday scaries that come about and people aren't looking forward to Monday. So you place that on Monday. So you have something to look forward to on like the work day of the week.
Right. No one likes Mondays. So I'm just like, all right, well, Mental Health Monday, let's fucking talk about our feelings. Let's talk about where we're at. Let's talk about our self-care stuff.
That's brilliant.
It's technically like the last stream of my stream week, so to speak. Because I stream Friday and then Saturday morning, starting next week. Saturday afternoon, Sunday afternoon, and then Monday afternoon/night. So, and that's the wrap up. So
busy weekend. I mean, I think it's like we've been talking about. I think it's important because, especially while we're living through a pandemic, stuff has gone virtually. Folks are a little nervous still about going in crowds, going around people, all the above. So I think it's important that this online community came about. And I just wanted to, I appreciate you answering that. I really wanted to understand a little more about your community, what's being said, how are they feeling? How are they receiving your information and all that stuff? So like, how in depth do you, this is kind of a vague question, since how in depth do you usually go, like with your mental health Mondays? I know that we did one here on Untapped Keg, but do you really provide your education, or utilize it, I should say, when it comes to these mental health Mondays?
Yeah, so I try to. I don't always necessarily, I'm not always necessarily an expert, say so to speak, on any particular topic. I like to think I have a good body of knowledge, but I do try to do my research when it comes to things that I'm unfamiliar with. But first and foremost, I let my guests kind of lead the conversation in a way. I really just see myself as a facilitator and to hold a space for the conversation. But I'm not ever really necessarily an expert, and I'm definitely not an expert on people's unique personal experiences. And that's really what the show, I suppose you could call it, is about. It's about getting to what a person's experiences are, why, where they came from, why they came from there, what's going on for them in the past and what's going on for them now. What was their journey like, get the complete picture. And as far as like how deep do we go with that, the answer literally depends on how comfortable is the person talking about all that. Because I've told folks, listen, you can say anything. You can say anything. Like if it's gonna be triggering, that's fine, because I literally put out into my chat, hey, trigger warning, we might be talking about some really potentially triggering really deep shit, potentially traumatic backstory TM kind of shit going on here. And I feel like my generation in general really relates to learning people's traumatic backstories, TMs first, and then 3 months later you learn that they have 2 cats and a dog, right? And that's kind of a joke, but it's also no joke, because it's the truth of the matter. But yeah, I really just I don't press people to say everything. It's obviously it's not a therapy session, right? But I do try to be mindful and do aftercare and stuff, and just talk with them for a few minutes afterwards as well, and just be like, hey, I hope everything's okay, especially if something got very intense and emotional for them, because it really depends where people are at. And I said, just speak as comfortably as possible about whatever. I'm not going to press you for details and be like, oh, well, how did you do XYZ thing? And, oh, why was that? And why did you think that way? I'm not judging people. I'm not judgmental. I'm just here to ask you to tell your story as authentically as possible. So, yeah.
That's one, that's something that we've also found, because, we talk to a lot of people who are very vulnerable, and we try to be vulnerable with everybody out there too, because we feel that if we can't be vulnerable, how can we expect others to as well? And plus, absolutely, we all have low points, and we want to let others know that just because for an hour it seems like we got our stuff together, it doesn't mean that we do, right? That's something that I try to speak very honestly, and amongst us too, about where our mental health is at the time. So you to be out there and be comforting and put others' stories out there too, it helps to, what we talk about all the time, and I'm sure you do as well, break that stigma that is out there. We're all trying to make mental health be as, it's not just breaking the stigma, but normalizing mental health as much as, maybe going to the chiropractor and getting everything realigned. Maybe, just going to the doctor for your yearly physical. That's the goal. That's the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
So that's bringing it mainstream. That's helping so much.
I mean, that's the reason. Yeah, it's there's this huge push. Has always been this huge push for physical health, but we're just trying to get the mental health part up on the same level, the conscious awareness, collectively speaking, to everybody. Like, hey, you got to pay attention to what's in between your ears as well too. Just as important, if not more, way more important than your physical health. Because if this is not together, then
right,
it's not going to work in sync. So I think this is a very, very important conversation. So Waba,
yes,
Waba.
Yes.
So I don't know if we shared it. Did we talk about the background? Were we on air talking about the?
Yeah, that was the very start of the conversation.
I didn't know if we were. But here's the deal: like, we go live, but we don't start until like a minute into the live part.
Yeah.
I'm still loving the background. I really am.
Thank you. It's funny. I debated between this one and the one that I'm currently rocking for my just chatting screen, which is the haunted house.
Yeah,
I like that.
But I was like, nah, this one looks better.
The cozy one.
Shirt.
I really like the cozy one. Like, I can feel that fire in there. Like, it's
right,
just, man.
So typically, can I show this? Don't worry about it. You can't even hear it. It says it's Tata saying, "Come catch Waba live only on Twitch."
Nice.
But
I love it.
Yeah, this is my normal just chatting screen.
Okay.
And chat just goes up the screen there like that. I've scheduled. That's my CAD cam if it was plugged in, but it's not because it's my phone. So yeah. But that's usually how it goes. Is we kind of just chat there.
Fantastic. That's something that, yeah, like I commented before we went live, like the technology you have there, which, it may not seem like a lot, but to me, Amons, it's like magic almost. Like, we're still learning how to do everything. We just started using thumbnails like 2.5 weeks ago. It's like, nice. We're catching up.
It looks
slowly
really
but
good.
surely.
Looks really good.
Thank you.
Slowly but surely. We are the torch. Absolutely.
Listen, I work outside with my hands because computers just, I can get by, but I can just get by, and that's it. I am no wizard.
It's all right.
So when you started your Mental Health Mondays, and then you're talking about the video game, goodness, I can't remember it. Shady go with you.
Shady part of me. We just started that yesterday.
Okay. Yeah. How often do you get games that? Because games right now they're creating. Celeste is obviously like right there, relating to your mental health. How often do you kind of find games like that, or is it just happy coincidence when it happens?
Honestly, not often enough. I have several series going on the channel right now. And Shady part of me is not in the normal rotation right now, but it probably should be. It's actually kind of rare that I have those games. I do like storytelling games a lot. But I also, I don't know. I like the games I like, I like a lot of Nintendo games.
I understand.
I'm playing Metroid. Sunday slot was Deltarune, which is another like very story driven kind of game. But I have to wait for the other chapters to come out. So in the meantime, we're doing Skyward Sword because I want to do Skyward Sword. That's today actually. And I'm really excited because I've never played it before. So I'm excited to experience that. I'm a big Nintendo fan, but I definitely want to play. I do want to play more mental health related type games. I've been given a lot of like various ones to play through. Oh, I know one that we recently played and finished, Psychonauts 2. Oh, really great game.
Yeah, that's a really beautiful. I've heard amazing things about it.
It is very well done. It is very good story based. It is huge mental health wise. I was thinking I'm making like a dissecting kind of like YouTube video about it a bit because I've seen a few going around and I'm like, I kind of want to talk more about this and go in depth with it. But yeah, so it's just kind of like when it comes up, and we'll start it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Mons, I don't know if you know this, but Skyward Sword is a Zelda game. Zelda. Okay.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. Wow. What's your favorite game?
Shit.
You said Nintendo.
That's
so
kind of a personal question, Mons.
Like, as soon as the first thing that popped in my head was Ocarina of Time. Absolutely, because that's my favorite game. One of.
I never actually completed Ocarina of Time. I have it on the DS. And I've been playing through it. So I really need to get back into it though.
I heard that's the definitive version is the DS version. And I'm not even joking. I'm not joking.
That's wild. I would think the original.
I've heard that the DS had a little bit of some minor upgrades that helped make the game even better. So
yeah, I agree.
That's what that's what I've heard.
It definitely is like more apparent where you're supposed to go in places. So I think, all right, I know this is old game, but one of my favorite games is Pokemon Crystal version.
Okay.
It's the second generation game, so that's Silver and Gold, and then they came out with Crystal. And that's one of my favorite games of all time, just because the second generation of Pokemon has a lot of nostalgia for me.
Mm-hmm.
I played that so much. My first level 100 Pokemon Typhlosion was in that game as well, and it's just it's very special in my heart.
Good.
That's
good.
awesome.
My friend growing up is a diehard. I was gonna say Packers fan, just because I'm so used to saying diehard Packers fan for RJ. Diehard Pokemon fan, still to this day actually. So I've heard that before. He's most definitely mentioned that before.
It's funny. I was playing a ROM hack called Crystal Clear, which is Pokemon Crystal, but with like a lot of added side story stuff. But like a fool, I tried to play a Nuzlocke without knowing anything about the game. Bad decision. And I got burnt out with it, so I stopped playing that on my Friday slots. And then they announced Metroid Dread, and I was like, all right, great. I'm gonna switch to playing the Metroid Prime games now.
So let me ask you a question that's going to make me sound really ignorant, and I'm okay with it. What exactly is a Nuzlocke? Because I see that all the time, and I'm not exactly sure.
So what a Nuzlocke is it's you play a Pokemon game, right? And you have to nickname all your Pokemon. You can only catch the first Pokemon that you encounter in any given route. And if you miss your chance to catch it, then that's it. You can't catch another. If a Pokemon faints, it dies, and you have to either release it or put it in like a Pokemon box that is like your dead box. And like there's that's just like the basic rule set. There's other rule sets that can make it harder or easier, like no items or no held items. Only shiny claws. Like if you encounter a shiny, well, like, okay, it's okay, you can catch that, or like legendary is okay, you can catch that as well.
I saw someone do one that they could only catch Pokemon that were or use Pokemon that were shorter than themselves. And that I was like,
shorter than themselves. Yeah. That's hilarious.
I was like, I don't know exactly what that means, but that seems fantastic to do.
So all Pokemon have heights, right? Yep. They have canonical heights.
Yep.
So you could just look it up and see, like, all right, well, I'm 6 foot, so is this Pokemon shorter than me?
Well, and then they have the ranges in there too. So you might have a range that is you could use that Pokemon, but it has to be shorter than you, than maybe like the one that you had a chance to catch. Might be taller, right?
No, Pokemon don't have ranges.
They don't have ranges? I thought they did.
They have a set height that's like canonical. Yeah. I mean, there are some situations where it's like, oh, this Magikarp is 29 centimeters or something. But it's just cosmetic. It's just text cosmetic. It doesn't actually affect gameplay or anything.
Okay. That must be what it is then. So yeah, I thought that was really funny. So I wasn't sure exactly what it meant, but I thought it was funny that when they posted that.
It's great.
So Waba, when it comes to you, when it comes to your streams, what's some of the most wholesome moments? Yeah, and again, I'm assuming there's plenty, but if you had to just like nail down one or maybe two, like wholesome moments, like for you, when you hop on, you got a good group of folks that are watching, typing, interacting. Like what is that like for you?
So your first question was the most wholesome moment, and the second, what is it like for me?
Question. In a sense.
I think my most wholesome moment is just kind of like a collection. As you said, there is a lot of them. Right. It's a collection of moments when someone comes in chat and says, "Hey, Waba, I'm having a really rough day today." And I just immediately try to be supportive as possible. And just, can we show some love? And, I think that's worked really, really well. And I should probably use it a bit more often. And just, chat spams hearts or just like offers words of encouragement or support to other folks. And, to see that shit really warms my heart, because it means that like, I kind of taught them well, kind of say, so to speak, I'm really leading a good community here.
Right.
And that's the best thing I could ever hope for,
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that honestly, yeah, that's, as we've already shared plenty of times. It's needed nowadays, this online safe space community, especially for our youth, because social media can get extremely, it is
toxic. It's toxic. 100%. Yeah,
and
for sure.
This is stuff that folks really need to start exploring. If you don't even have to be tech savvy, but
right.
Just kind of learn a little bit of the basics, because if you're struggling with connecting with folks in person or struggling with connecting with folks via social media, which is a very toxic environment. Yeah. You got to check out Twitch, mental health streams, YouTube live stream, because these systems, and again, I'm speaking just to our audio listeners here, obviously YouTube, you both know this, but, we're able to moderate, just like you said, Waba. You control the environment. You can push out folks who are toxic. You can spread the love, etc. So that's just, and again, some people think this stuff is cheesy, but it really helps. It really actually does.
No, it does. It does. I don't give a shit what other. Listen, this is my approach to like social media. This is my approach to content creation in general. I don't give a shit what other people think. If I'm creating something that I'm proud of, and that at least one other person has said that they're benefiting from it, then I'm going to keep doing it, because I'm certain that I'm not alone and they're not alone either in thinking that way. And I know a lot of people think that they're alone, but I don't want anyone to ever feel like they're alone. Like that's the other slogan that I try to say a lot, is just like, you're never alone here in the Waba fam, right? Freaking like fam for life. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we really, we just try to show love, and
it's fantastic.
That's where it's at.
So,
of course,
kind of bridging off that, we've mentioned it before on the podcast, but I don't know if I really mentioned it well. So if people are struggling with substance dependency and addiction, and you're on Twitter, you can follow hashtags. There's a great community around the hashtag recovery posse. So if you go on and you look up recovery posse, like that's actually, we found that community through sober lady Nikki, who's over in England, who had a tweet go viral about her being an alcoholic and then her going sober and her story. Awesome. That's how we found it. So we started following it, and it's really wholesome. Like that's really cleaned up my Twitter feed, especially because I mean, as alcoholics, it's everywhere, right? I mean, alcohol consumption, even on Twitch, even on podcasts that I listen to, like anniversary streams, they just get just blasted. Like part of what they, their goals are. Well, drink this shot, drink that shot. And then you hear them like slurring their words. And honestly, I'm not going to lie. I kind of crave it sometimes listening to people slur their words. Like I remember that point, and I remember the good memories, but then at the same time, like I would drink till I'm blacked out, so I wouldn't stop there, right? End stream, and I'm drinking all the bottles. We can't waste this alcohol. We got to finish it, kind of a thing. So I just want to throw out there the Recovery Posse hashtag. Like if you follow that hashtag, and then you reach out to anybody who's on there, is just awesome at responding. So you're really not alone. One thing that I wanted to ask you about, Waba, and you don't have to answer it because it might be a little bit personal, but before stream, when we were talking about how to introduce you, you mentioned you wanted to create a family by choice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why did you want to really establish that family by choice? Because that hit me in the heart, and I really appreciate that. And that's something that I think differentiates the younger generation and the older generation, is that understanding.
Yeah, so I'll give my meme answer first, which is I fucking hate my mom because she's a narcissistic bitch and she can go die in a fire. But
You're right.
yeah.
Tell us how you really feel, right?
Yeah, that's how I really feel. But the other probably more canned answer is like literally, think about it. Think about our generation, think about where we're at, think about pandemic, think about the LGBT community. That's really where it comes from. It's always been a thing. Like even older generations kind of like recognize this. Older queers, older gays will recognize this as we've always been trying to create our own family. We've had to choose our own family because our blood family has often pushed us to the wayside. So especially in the queer community, we've been forced to create this family of choice. So I'm just like, all right, well, let me extend this to not only, people in the queer community, not only people who have dealt with mental health, but anyone else who needs a family out there, needs some little extra bit of love and support,
Yep.
That's where it came from. That's where the idea came from in a way, and I've always I've kind of raised myself in a way with that friends are more meaningful to me than my blood family ever will be. Like I never really had a lot of strong familiar ties. Like I lived with my mom and my dad. The rest of my family was in Massachusetts and I didn't really connect with them too much. They didn't really connect with me too much. And there aren't many of them either. So it's just like, whatever, like family didn't really mean anything to me. And I had to find my own meaning in my chosen family with my friends. So that's been a more meaningful connection for me. And that's been a more meaningful bond for me. And now I have this ability to create it online and I have this ability to recruit more people into it online. And it's great. Of course, you also, say that and it's like, oh no, it's a cult. And I'm like, no, it's not a cult because you can make your own choices and, you don't have to be here. And I tell people like, there's no expectations here. Just
Except
be nice.
You have to drink the Kool-Aid.
Yeah. You have to drink the Kool-Aid of not being a dick to people. That's all I ask,
I think that's important stuff right there.
Yeah.
So that now it all makes sense. Your passion, your drive, because you personally know how some folks feel if they are pushed to the side and feel isolated from their blood family. And
Absolutely.
We're humans. We need human interaction, whether it's in person or online. It's just how our brains are wired. And I'm sitting right here learning a lot about you, Waba, and that just kind of put it all into place for me. So I appreciate you sharing that because that's important stuff. Understanding someone's background, like why do you do what you do?
Yeah. And
why are you so passionate about it? And that just answered it. So wonderful. That's wonderful.
I asked that question because I've used that with my own family because my parents moved away from their family when I was younger. Well, before I was born. And my closest family was 6+ hours away. Right. So my uncles and aunts were our family friends. Like my cousins were my friends, and trying to explain that to people, like, we went to go visit them, but nobody ever came to visit us. So at that point, like my friends I was way closer with my friends than I was with any cousin. And that's just something that I didn't understand growing up until Mons and my partner, like they were really close with their cousins, like best friends. And I was that was foreign to me. I didn't understand that. It's
concept, so foreign to me. I'm so dissociated from my own family, and I don't get it. Like, and I also, here's the other thing too that I really don't get, and I have trouble like conceptualizing in my head, is I see other families with like such a fucking like fair weather friend kind of attitude towards their kids.
Wow.
Or towards like, especially towards their kids, of just kind of like, well, you're not useful to me anymore, so I'm not going to talk to you, or like, I'm going to complain that you don't call me, but am I going to make an effort to reach out? No. It's just like, why? Like, this is weirdly toxic. I don't know why like you attempt to, and it just seems like the only reason that they attempt to guilt trip their kid is so they can get something out of it. And I'm just like, gross. This is disgusting.
And that's the thing, like a lot of the generations ahead of us feel this, that they have to deal with toxicity from family members out of a guilt.
Maybe that's what
right?
it is. And yeah, I feel like it's like a passed down generational trauma thing of like, you know, well, my parents treat me like shit, so I'm gonna treat my kid like shit, and that doesn't make any sense to me.
And you
like,
have to forgive me. I don't have to say I'm sorry.
Right, no, I don't have to
forgive me. You have to.
I'm not obligated to forgive you. I'm not obligated to feel any way. Like, that's ridiculous. This also the same with like mental health stuff. Like, you push away, older generations push away like mental health and say like, oh, it's all in your head and this, that, and the other thing. And it's just like, bro, no, it's real. And like, you're traumatized too. And like, if you like accept that and maybe go to therapy, maybe you'd get better and realize that you're hurting your friends as well. Like, you're hurting your kids.
Yeah.
You know, hurt people, but like, for fuck's sakes, go to therapy, please.
And you know, that's the thing. Like, it's all in your head. Well, that's why I talk to someone, so we can get it right. Yeah, we can touch it. We can work on it. Like, mental health is so important. It's not just like your mindset and everything else. And I think that's what's so hard to get through to people who don't respect it, is that, you know, it's not a mindset. It's not that you wake up and you choose to feel certain ways, or, you know, this other stuff. Like, you know, everybody would choose to wake up and be so happy, but it's just, you know, there's so many complex operations of the human mind, body, and spirit that,
absolutely.
It's how do you know, explain that to people who don't want it explained, kind of a thing. So that's why talking about it is, you know, you get those epiphanies.
I heard all right, hold on. I have a video for this actually, because I heard a video, or I watched a video, or I liked a video recently, that was regarding the people that don't listen to you. And basically it was coming from like a business point of view, but it was very fucking true when it comes to mental health as well. If someone is not listening to you, if they're just spouting their bullshit just to spout their bullshit and make their point, then they're not listening. Stop talking to them. Stop talking to them. You're wasting your time. You're wasting your breath. You know, you have to find the people that are willing to have a conversation with you, that are willing to listen to you. Because until you have that good communication, you're not going to get anywhere. You're just going to speak into a wall, a very, very stubborn wall, you know? And this happens so many times on Mental Health Monday, where like someone new will come in and will say something, and I'm just like, you're not here to have a conversation. You're here to have an argument. I put someone on blast actually on Twitter because I banned them from my chat, and then they came at me on Twitter, and I'm like, nah, I made the decision to like not take this shit. So I'm just going to quote retweet you and just be like, all right, great. You want to do this shit? Here's all the fucking receipts and screenshots of your messages and my chat responding back to you, because you're an ignorant son of a bitch. Fuck off. And they just kept going at it.
Social media for you. That's social media for you. But yeah, I wanted to touch quickly on what you guys were saying about the generational stuff. I think, and obviously how therapy, again, there's many avenues that one can take to obviously better their mental health. But you know, I'm close to my heart is therapy, one-on-one counseling, what have you. And I think for some folks, they don't really understand. And I'm not making any excuses, absolutely not. Because adults, you do come to a point where you understand that your behavior is toxic, but some folks don't even understand that their entire personality is a trauma response.
Yeah, right, exactly.
And that is what's passed down to the child. And that child, obviously, once that child becomes an adult and has children, doesn't understand that their personality came about because of their parents' trauma response, said personality, that being passed down. And that's then how that child is going to raise their child with that trauma response. Personally, see what I'm saying? So I think when therapy, in my opinion, obviously everybody has their opinions about therapy, but for me, at least, therapy helped me to, attach words to certain memories, attach concepts to certain situations to kind of understand the track that I was on and why what happened. That is, I guess, for folks out there who just are just so against therapy, that's really how it helped me. It's not a magic pill you're going to receive. Obviously, you have to do the work, but it can really help. And it sounds like, Waba, you are one for therapy as well.
Yeah. So yeah, obviously, yeah, I'm definitely pro therapy. I'm definitely pro seeking help in general. I mean, again, you talked earlier about normalizing mental health and getting rid of mental health stigma. One of those is literally normalizing reaching out for help, normalizing going to therapy, normalize having a conversation with your doctor, normalize talking with your friends about, medications or talking about, thoughts. I mean, shit, like the entirety of suicide prevention skill set, it has to do with fucking just talking about, having an open conversation, not being afraid to have that conversation. Hell, you could even say even substance abuse has to do with that as well. Being open in the conversation, being open to exploring, yourself, putting that mirror up,
Definitely. Just like, honestly, so when I gave up drinking, I just gave up drinking. I didn't go to the root cause of it. So I didn't better myself. It was the podcast that kind of shined that mirror back, and I had my feet down. But I was someone who was against, I wouldn't say against, but I was stubborn to the idea of going to therapy, right? Like, I didn't need it because things are going well in my life, like all this stuff. But then I went and I
you
saw
trick
the
yourself.
benefits of it, and I'm like, gosh, I'm such a doofus for for waiting so long to do this.
Kick yourself afterwards.
Yes. So like, even if you feel like everything is great, just talking to someone who is objective about everything that you're talking about, is just it's a wonderful feeling. It's something that I can't overstate. But then there, having that holistic approach and stuff too, and we talk about the mindfulness, like finding that hobby that you can connect with, that can help you decompress and just focus on yourself, right? Like that is so important as well. But like that's in addition to, or it could be the main thing. And therapy could be in addition to. It doesn't have to be a main thing as well. Like all of this, there's no right answer to it. And that's definitely another thing to say. Everybody's unique, right? Everybody's unique.
Yeah. I've said this before. Don't be afraid to shop around for the therapist that fits you best as well.
Yeah.
Because I think there is a giant step definitely to get into therapy. There's a lot of stigma there. But then afterwards, it's like, okay, I'm in therapy. This isn't working out. This isn't going well. They're not right for me. But I'm afraid to leave. And I always tell people, part of the conversation of getting into therapy is also don't be afraid to shop around. Don't be afraid to speak up as well, because a lot of people get very afraid in front of like authority figures or perceived authority figures, especially doctors, right? They'll be very afraid to say something, or like they'll say something and then they won't get heard and they won't be helped. And I've told people, honestly, you kind of have to threaten doctors. And I hate to say it that way, but you do. You have to be like, all right, great. Can you write down in my notes that you refuse to fucking help me with this issue that I've brought up to you several times? Cool. Yeah. Awesome. I'll fucking wait here until you press save on that note.
Yeah.
Like, and then it's like, oh, you get helped right away. Suddenly.
That's very important, very true. Actually, for some folks out there, and people don't understand that if you are denied, if you brought something to your doctor multiple times, they just keep denying any help with it. Have them save that in their notes. I'm so glad you brought that up, Baba. Absolutely, really glad you brought that up. So as we start to kind of get towards the end here, I kind of really want to just run through quickly again, Waba, of your schedule, just so the folks listening can kind of obviously catch on to what you're doing, when you're doing it, and how to gain access.
Sure. I got you. Where is it? Oh, it's in final products. Never mind. Yeah, sure. So generally speaking, there we go. There it is.
Oh, awesome. So for those listening, schedule's popped up on YouTube. So if you go to the YouTube video, you'll be able to find Waba's schedule. And then, yeah, go ahead.
This is a general. Mondays are always Mental Health Mondays at 7 p.m. And this is all times in EST, Eastern Standard Time. Convert to your own time. We start at 7 p.m. for a check-in with the community. We just kind of talk about how we're doing, where our mental health's at, how our self-care is at, all that good stuff. You know, we encourage each other to take care of yourselves. You know, first and foremost, you have to take care of yourself before you can even begin to take care of others. And then at 8 p.m., we have guests on, usually 1 or 2. This week, we're going to have 3 guests on. It's going to be Hotchfad, his wife Star, and Make Art with Maki, all talking on intersectionality. And that's what we've been talking about this month. And we'll continue to talk about that as well next month with a lot of other amazing creators out there. I've been talking exclusively to BIPOC folks, which is Black, Indigenous people of color, about this topic because I feel like their stories, more than anyone else's stories, are never really showcased. They're never really valued as much in media. So I hate to like pigeonhole it to a month. So I'm just like, I had so much interest in it. So I'm just like, you know what, make it 2 months. Hell, it might even be 3 months at this rate. The way we're going, which is awesome to me. I love the conversation. And I love hearing people's stories. I don't stream Tuesday. I don't stream Wednesday. Thursday, I do a YouTube upload. Right now, we're doing a series with Nobody Listens to Mori of Vampire the Masquerade. I'll also start re-recording my Dragon Quest 9 series with one of my other mods on Twitch, Turn. It's just kind of like a series of like, I record games with my mods that they're passionate about, just to find out like what they think about the game. Fridays, we do 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. and that's my Metroid right now block. We just went through Metroid Prime 1, so now we're in Metroid Prime 2. We're about halfway through the game. Pretty good. Saturdays, at 12 p.m. noon, it's not on here, but it'll be on next week's schedule. At 12 p.m. noon to 3 p.m., we do D&D. I have 2 D&D groups, a VTuber D&D and Horror the Twitch streamers. So Horror the Twitch streamers, Horror the VTubers. I'm a VTuber for the VTuber one. I have a couple of models that I use that Maury made for me. But yeah, it's with awesome VTubers such as Maury had us, Rin, and Nixie, and you can all meet them then. And then the one with the Twitch streamers is with Crazy's Queen Bronek, her husband Rift, and my friend Kyle, who's Death Stays Advantage on Twitch. And then also on Saturday, 5 to 10, we usually do either Sims or meme review. It just kind of switches out every other week. Sims, you can be made into a Sim. The chat usually gets made into Sims. You follow the instructions in the Selfies channel. If you want to be made into a Sim, we have like 5 households at this point, and we just kind of switch between all of them at some point during the stream, or we just kind of focus on 1 or 2. So it's a lot of fun, a lot of chaos. It's Sims, you know, Sims 4. And then finally Sunday, just to round out the week, we have another variety slot. We were playing Deltarune, and before that we were playing Psychonauts 2. And now the community voted again, and they chose Skyward Sword over Metroid Dread. So we're playing Skyward Sword tonight at 5 p.m. And it's going to be first time playing it. I'm going to try to play with controller, and we'll see how that goes. But yeah, should be a lot of fun.
Heck yeah.
In the meantime, Sky has jumped back into my arms here. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
With that, is there any game that you look forward to playing on stream in the future? Like, is it Metroid Dread, or is there a game coming out soon that you're going to be playing on stream that you really look forward to playing?
Yes, but I'm not sure if it's going to be a great stream game, but I'm going to stream it anyway. And it's Advanced Wars Reboot Camp 1 and 2.
Nice.
Because I absolutely adore the Advanced Wars series. I think it's so much fun. And I kind of want to show it off to my community, if not for just like one stream, maybe more. I don't know. But yeah, I find it as a very fun strategy war game type ish. Just turn-based war game with, CO powers and different abilities and stuff. So it's fun, and I'm really happy that it's getting a reboot. So it's like super HD and kind of looks like anime-esque, like cartoony. Yeah, I love it. It looks fun. And I've heard through the grapevine rumors that like all the music is like redone, and like there might be voice acting as well. And I'm like, oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited to see what it looks like.
It's amazing when you get these games, those old games where you read everything, and obviously in your head, you're kind of adding a little something onto it when you're reading it. But then you hear the voice acting and you're like, okay, this is way better than what I even remember reading it is. It's just, yeah, it's awesome. So I'm happy for you.
I mean,
it's great.
Even if there's no voice acting, I like to voice act myself. So I'll just make voices for all of them.
That's awesome. I just wanted to say something too. We were talking earlier about games with mental health. Like, I don't think The Last of Us and Last of Us Part 2 gets enough credit about the mental health aspects that it covers. Like, obviously there's other reasons that Last of Us Part 2, like, obviously it's, you know, transphobes and all of the above and misogyny.
Right.
But like the way that those games take you on a journey, like the characters going through these mental health hurdles and everything else that goes on, like, I think that those games do a really good job, and I don't think it's celebrated as much as it should be with what they've managed to get on their storytelling. And I really want to play Psychonauts 2. So with you know, you reminding me, I need to get in there. I got so many games I have to beat though.
Well, Last of Us 2 is the most awarded game of all time. So I mean, and now it's going to be an HBO series.
Nice.
So I mean, it received most definitely its recognition because it's the most accessible game as well for folks. They are most definitely huge supporters of the LGBTQIA plus community, big time actually. The main character identifies as gay, and they have the flag, the colors like painted on the streets. I mean, they are big time supporters of every single social group in a sense, for lack of a better term right there. But I think by them winning all the awards as well, like folks obviously are playing the game or looking for the HBO series. It's a wonderful platform.
I just think when we talk mental health games, I don't think it's mentioned maybe as much as it could be, because it really does, especially Part 2, obviously. Like, that's a lot of what that game is the story's about. So
it's so good.
I just wanted to throw that
on my
there.
list.
And then like the obviously Celeste, like, it is such a great game, and the story that it tells is a 2D platformer.
I don't know if I'll be skilled enough for Celeste, but I'll give it a try.
They have an invincibility mode too.
Do they?
So that's like nice. That's also a game where they focused on accessibility. But yeah, I've heard a lot of, like, I'm not great at 2D. We talked about this before the show. I'm actually bad at 2D platformers and adventure games and stuff like that, adventure action games. So I think you could do it if I could do it, but I need to do like older games too. So with everything that's out there in the world right now, I just want to take this time to thank you, Waba, for creating the community that you have and being so wholesome and understanding. Like, what you're doing is really important, and that needs to be stated. So, winding down.
Thank you for having me on.
You've been wonderful. This has been a great conversation. It was a lot of fun. I figured it would be, but I was glad that it ended up being. Catch Waba at twitch.tv/WabaStreams, WABA streams. They're always wholesome, very welcoming community. Is there anywhere else where people can find you, Waba?
Twitter, YouTube, TikTok. I actually have 3 YouTubes. Waba VODs and Waba Shorts, but Shorts are the same as TikTok. So if you don't have a TikTok, Waba Shorts is your home for all the shorts.
Okay.
And then Discord as well. Yeah, I'm on Instagram as well. Yeah, I'm on pretty much every platform. At least I hope so. All the major ones.
Right. That's something we got to get better at, social, one day. So this has been Untapped Keg Podcast, our podcast about sobriety and mental health. We're part of the Believe Podcast Network. This podcast has been presented by Bet Online. Please gamble responsibly, and if you feel like you need to reach out, please reach out. You can catch us at Untapped Keg everywhere. Untapped Keg on YouTube, Untapped Keg on Twitter, everywhere. We're just Untapped Keg. feel free to email us, untappedkeg@gmail.com. If you'd like to email us, if you're going through a rough patch, we will get back to you as soon as we see it. Obviously, sometimes life gets in the way, but we will get back to you as fast as we can. And we don't mind having conversations. Monts, where can they find you?
Yeah, you guys can find me at MonteBowl28 on Twitter, MonteBowl on Instagram. Please, obviously, on Untapped Cake pages as well. Send us topics, questions, etc. We'll most definitely get back to you. RJ, where can they find you?
Find me at @IsTrickster on Twitter, ITZ. The I is a 1 in Trickster. And let's try to be better tomorrow than we were today, because at least if we don't make it, we tried. Thank you so much for being here, Waba. It was an absolute joy.
Thank you for having me. It was an honor.
You have a wonderful week and a great day.
You too.
And we look forward to talking to you again.
Absolutely.